Okay. So this is peripheral and autonomic nervous system. We are talking about peripheral and 1 second. I'll stop the video. Peripheral and autonomic nervous system. So we have seen that central nervous system, uh, like it consists of brain and the spinal cord. And I've told that peripheral nervous system means it consists of the cranial and cranial nerves and spinal nerves. And then another division of the uh, central nervous system, autonomic control, autonomic nervous system. So we'll see how they are organized. So peripheral nervous system, it consists of 12 pairs of cranial nerves which originate from brain, and spinal nerves, it consists of 31 pairs of spinal nerves from that originate from spinal cord. Okay, and say this is the organization, general integration of all the say segments of the nervous system. Okay, so here a stimulus is a dangerous stimulus. Somebody is going to attack you, or you are seeing it. This is a visual impulse. Okay, you are seeing it, and it's a visual impulse. Visual impulse. Okay, so that is detected by the sensory neurons. Okay, sensory division, sensory neurons. So sensory nerves are a part of peripheral nervous system. Okay, nerves, they are nerves out of the brain and out of the spinal cord. So the sensory nerves, they are part of peripheral nervous system. They convey the stimulus. Here the visual impulse, it is convey the stimulus to the brain. Okay, to the CNS, to the central nervous system, with the brain and spinal cord. Here there is integration happens, and reflex activity or response, a motor response is initiated, and that is carried out again by Saurabh, again by the peripheral nervous system, the motor nerves. Okay, the motor nerves, the motor division of motor nerves, that comes under again PNS. Okay, and this again in the motor or in that motor neurons or motor nerves, there are autonomic division and somatic division. Two are there. The somatic division, the motor nerves which comes under somatic division, they supply to the skeletal muscle and helps in movement. You can run away from there, that place, you can hide somewhere, or that helps the movement of the muscle. And the autonomic division, that regulates your internal environment of the body, that supports the particular situation. Like you may need to increase your heart rate, because for the blood supply, if you are running, more blood supply should be there, cardiac output should increase. Okay, so that autonomic nervous system regulates all the internal conditions which supports the current situation, or the situation which has to be adopted. Okay, so this is a general integration of the PNS, ANS and CNS. Okay, so PNS carries the sensory information and CNS integrates it, and CNS sends the motor information again via PNS, and with the help of the motor the somatic motor nerves, and with the help of the autonomic motor nerves, the body regulates the situation or the conditions, internal and external. Okay, and now we'll see the cranial nerves, which arises from the brain stem. Okay, please don't use your screens or any other facilities in that. Please listen. Okay, so the cranial nerves, the peculiarities are, it has, each nerve has a number has both a number and a name. It has numbered like Roman letter 1 to 12, and each one has got a particular name also. The number indicate order from anterior to posterior, while the name indicates the distribution or its function. Okay, where it is distributed or its function. And the cranial nerve can emerge, or not, it emerges from nose, eyes, inner ear, brainstem and spinal cord. Okay, nose, eyes, inner ear, brainstem and spine, these are the points where the cranial nerves are emerged. And the three cranial nerves, 1, 2 and 8, they carry only sensory neurons. Okay, these nerves, these bundles of nerves, they have only sensory neurons, and so they are called as sensory nerves, 1, 2 and 8. and their cell bodies are located outside the brain, because sensory neurons carry a sensation from different body parts towards the brain. Okay, so their cell bodies are located outside the brain and are called as ganglia. Okay, outside the brain it is called as ganglia. Outside the CNS it is called as ganglia. And 5 cranial nerves, 3, 4, 6, 11 and 12, they contain only motor neurons, axons of motor neurons, and so they are called as motor nerves. Okay, and their cell bodies lie inside the brain or within the brain, and it is called as nuclei. Okay, so the cell bodies, clusters of cell body outside the CNS, it is ganglia, and inside the CNS it is nuclei. Already we have discussed all those terms and all. So, and other, the rest 4 nerves, the rest 4 of the cranial nerves, like 5, cranial number 5, 6, 9 and 10, they are mixed nerve. They have both sensory division and motor neurons, sensory neurons and motor neurons. Okay. And in this, like 3, 7, 9 and 10, these cranial nerves, cranial number 3, 7, 9 and 10, okay, they have somatic division and autonomic division of motor axon. Somatic division and autonomic, that means somatic nerve supply to the skeletal muscle, while autonomic division supplies to the involuntary muscles like smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, and to the glands. Okay, so this is the general organization of the what you call cranial nerves. Okay, and we'll see the different nerves. The first one is olfactory nerve. Okay, cranial number 1, the olfactory nerve, and you can see it arises. You can see this is olfactory epithelium on the superior portion, the roof of the nose. And this olfactory epithelium consists of olfactory receptors. And these olfactory receptors are actually modified dendrites. Okay, modified dendrites. One end of these dendrites are rod-like. They, at the end of the dendrite, you can see small hairs. They receive the odorant molecules, and then they cause receptor potential, which can be carried by these neurons. And bundles of these new axons, the axons which extends from these olfactory receptors, they form the olfactory nerve. Okay, and they extend to the forebrain through the olfactory foramina on the cribriform plate. Okay, so these are the olfactory nerve. They carry sensory, this is a sensory nerve, carries sensory information regarding the smell sensation from the nose. And then optic nerve. Optic nerve, it comes from the retina. Okay, it supplies to the rods and cones. So it carry information from the that is light energy, which is converted into, when light energy when falls onto the retina, it is converted into electrical energy. That action potential is carried by this optic nerve. So you can see here retina, rods and cones. These are cones and rods. They are supplied by different types of bipolar cells and ganglion cells. Bipolar cells and bipolar cells are connected with ganglion cells. And the axons of ganglion cells, they form bundles of those axons. They form the optic nerve. Okay, optic nerve. And then comes oculomotor. So here you can see the name olfaction, olfactory nerve. They are named according to their function. And optic nerve, the vision. Okay, and oculomotor, trochlear, and abducens. The 3 nerves, they are motor. These 3 are motor, and they supply to the muscles of the eye. Okay, so here you can see oculomotor nerve. They arise from the here these 2 where they arise from the organs. Okay, from the receptor cells. Here the motor, they are motor nerves, so they arise from the brainstem. So here you can see oculomotor. Oculomotor arises from the brainstem and supplies to the muscles. It divides into superior and inferior branch. Superior branch supplies to the superior rectus muscles here, superior rectus muscles, and also levator palpebrae muscles, okay, which controls the palpebrae, the eyelids. And inferior branch, it supplies to the inferior rectus muscles, and it has a autonomic branch, okay, parasympathetic branch. That parasympathetic branch supplies to the ciliary muscles, okay, smooth muscles. Ciliary muscles are smooth muscles. They supply to the smooth muscle. And then comes trochlear. So oculomotor controls the motor activity of the eye muscles, okay, it enters to the orbit. And then comes trochlear nerve. It supplies to the superior oblique muscles, okay, superior oblique muscle. And comes the abducens. It supplies to the lateral rectus muscles. And this one is the smallest one. Trochlear is the smallest one, okay, smallest cranial nerve. And then comes abducens, which supplies to the lateral rectus muscles, which cause abduction of the eyeball, okay, lateral movement, abduction. So it is called as abducens. And trigeminal. Now this you will have to study a lot, because almost all the sensations, okay, somatic sensations are carried by the trigeminal nerve from the head and neck, okay. So you can see 3 branches for the trigeminal nerve: ophthalmic branch, maxillary branch, and a mandibular branch. So it is a mixed nerve. So mixed nerve, so it definitely it contains motor and sensory neurons. So here ophthalmic branch supplies to the eye, and maxillary branch to the maxilla, and mandibular branch to the mandible. So they are sensory, carry information from sensory information, all type of somatic sensory information: pain, touch, temperature, pressure, vibration, whatever somatic informations are there in the head and neck, they are carried by the trigeminal sensory branches of the trigeminal nerve. And motor, they supply to the muscles of mastication, okay. And there is an inferior branch of mandibular and maxillae. So mandibular branch, inferior alveolar nerve for the mandibular, one of the mandibular branch, and superior alveolar nerve, which is a branch of maxillary. So they supply to the like, it is all paired, all are paired one. So if this one segment, they supply half of the tooth set, okay. So this alveolar nerves, superior and inferior alveolar nerves, are the sites of giving your dental anesthesia, okay, dental pain block. So, and then comes the facial nerve. It's again a mixed nerve, and their sensory, they carry sensory information, most importantly from the taste sensation, okay. Taste sensation from the posterior 2/3 of the taste buds resides on the tongue. So on the tongue, the taste buds are present, and the anterior 2/3 of the tongue on the taste buds present on the tongue are innervated by the facial nerve. So they receive taste sensation from the anterior 2/3 of the tongue. And then proprioceptors, okay, proprioceptors regarding the movement joints of the face and scalp and ear canal. And then motor branch or motor supply towards the facial muscles, scalp muscles, and neck muscles. And one more is like stapedius muscles, okay. And they have got 2 parasympathetic division, 2 parasympathetic ganglia from this facial nerve. One is pterygopalatine and the other one is submandibular gland, and they regulate the secretion from lacrimal gland. You can see here lacrimal gland and nasal gland, palatal gland, and sublingual and submandibular saliva secreting glands. And vestibulocochlear. So this is a sensory nerve. So it arises from, so it has 2 branches, vestibular branch and cochlear branch. Okay. So it arises from the inner ear. So vestibular branch arises from the semicircular canals and what do you call utricle saccule, okay, the vestibular organ, okay, vestibular or labyrinth, vestibular apparatus. And the cochlear branch, it arises from the organ of Corti, or the ganglia is called as spiral ganglia, okay, spiral ganglion. It is inside the cochlea. The organ of hearing is called as cochlea, and more specifically inside the organ of cochlea there is an organ of Corti, Okay, hair cells. They are composed of hair cells. So from that organ of Corti, the cochlear branch arises, and together they form the vestibulocochlear nerve, a sensory nerve. And then comes glossopharyngeal. It is a mixed nerve, and it supplies to the muscles, motor branch. It supplies to the elevator muscles for the pharynx and larynx. That's called as what is the stylopharyngeus. Okay, and the sensory. So what is it? Sensory. It comes from the glossopharyngeus is very important. It comes from the taste bud, from the posterior posterior one third of the tongue. Taste buds resides on the posterior one third portion of the tongue, and from the swallowing muscles. And one more important is receptors, baroreceptors and chemoreceptors. Okay, which detects the pressure and chemical changes of the blood. Baroreceptors present on the carotid sinus, and chemoreceptors present on the carotid body. Those sensory informations are also carried by glossopharyngeal nerve. And then comes vagus nerve. So vagus nerve means widespread because of its wide distribution. Okay, it is called as vagus nerve. So it is distributed from all over, like head, neck to the lower abdomen, thorax and abdomen. So here you can see sensory branches like what called skin of the external ear, taste buds, a few taste buds in the glottis and epiglottis and pharynx. Okay, and then proprioceptors in the muscles of neck, cheeks, neck and throat. And then baroreceptors. Then comes the baroreceptors in the aortic arch and chemoreceptors like aortic bodies. Okay, aortic body and aortic arch. Okay, present on the aortic arch. And that is the sensory. And motor, it goes to the muscles of larynx, pharynx, soft palate, and what do you call? And then parasympathetic in a way, parasympathetic ganglia or branches, they go to GI tract, respiratory pathways, not the diaphragm, respiratory pathways, the bronchioles and all pathways, glands of GI tract and gallbladder. All these are the motor innervation by parasympathetic division. Okay, parasympathetic ganglia. You can see it enters into the superior inferior ganglia of parasympathetic division. So these are the supply of vagus nerve. Okay, so sensory and motor. So from head, neck, thorax and abdomen it goes. Okay, different structures it receives sensory information and also motor supply. Sensory mainly these taste buds and also these aortic bodies and aortic arch. Okay, and accessory that supplies to two muscles. It is a motor nerve, sternocleidomastoid and trapezius and sternocleidomastoid, and hypoglossal, which supplies to the tongue muscles. Okay, so these are about the cranial nerves. And then comes spinal nerves, which arises from the spinal cord. Okay. And here we have seen already while studying the spinal cord segment, we have seen the entry and exit, anterior root and posterior root all, which and emerging through the intervertebral foramina, etc. So we'll see the arrangement. Okay. So here, whether the spinal nerves are myelinated or non-myelinated, anything, it is covered by a layer called as endoneurium. Okay, so this is a spinal nerve which covered by axon is covered by endoneurium. Okay, and a bundle of such axons, they are covered by perineurium. Okay, and that bundle is called as fascicle, and many fascicles together covered by epineurium. Okay, a final covering, outer covering called epineurium. So this is the arrangement of the spinal nerve. And here we can see the how the spinal nerves entry, exit, and then how it is organized. Now you can see this is the spinal cord section. So gray matter, white matter, this is the dorsal root and this is the ventral root. And dorsal root has a ganglia because cell bodies are there, resides inside these ganglia. So this swelling is called as dorsal root ganglia. So ventral root, dorsal root, and dorsal root ganglia. Okay. And this immediately after exiting through these intervertebral foramina, these spinal nerve, okay, these ventral root, dorsal root, they join together and exit via the through this intervertebral foraminae. And after leaving, they divides into rami. Okay, a dorsal ramus. See here, it divides into a dorsal ramus and a ventral ramus. Okay, together we call it as rami. Okay, and one more thing, all these nerves, spinal nerves, after exiting, they are not directly supplying to the effector organs. Okay, except this thoracic division, except the thoracic division. Okay, they form plexus, branches, networks of nerves. Okay, so like that we have cervical plexus, brachial plexus, and these are intercostal nerves directly from the thorax. They don't form plexus. Okay, and lumbar plexus, sacral plexus, and so sacral plexus is so small. And this cauda equina means we have till this spinal cord is not extending till the sacral segments. Okay, after this region L2, these spinal nerves, they have to this, they leave from the segment of the spinal cord, and then they have to run downwards and exit from the corresponding intervertebral foramina. So they form like what you call radiations. Okay, that is called as cauda equina. And we'll see autonomic nervous system now. The autonomic nervous system, it gets input from autonomic receptors mostly inside this body, inside the body, the visceral organs. Okay, and motor, they are not aware of. We are not aware of those sensations, everything like your heartbeat, like your regulation of your blood pressure, etc. So and the motor division, it has also sensory and motor division. The sensory receptors are deep within the body itself, and the motor division, it has two divisions, sympathetic and parasympathetic system. Okay, the sympathetic system, I will see first this one, the pathway, how it is connected. Okay, see, this is a somatic motor system. So here you can see the anterior gray horn. Anterior gray horn, it the motor neuron arises and supplies to the effector muscle. And for a autonomic nervous system, it arises from the lateral gray horn. Okay, the motor neuron arises from the nuclei are situated in the lateral gray horn, and from the lateral gray horn, it arises and there are this is a single neuron. Okay, single nerve, it is a single nerve. But here for a autonomic nervous system, we have two sets. Okay, a preganglionic nerve fiber and a postganglionic nerve fiber, and obviously there will be a ganglion. So the preganglionic nerve fiber arises from the lateral gray horn. Okay, lateral gray horn, and ends in the ganglia, and then it makes synapse with the postganglionic nerve fiber, and axon of the postganglionic nerve fiber supplies to the different organs, the effector cells. Okay, the visceral organs, these are the visceral organs, not the skeletal muscles, visceral organs. Okay, and it comes the motor neuron pathways in ANS. You can see the sympathetic division is always activated during activities. Okay, like immediate responses or fight or flight responses. And parasympathetic, it is more referred to digestion and rest. Okay, during digestive period and resting period. So here, see, sympathetic preganglionic neurons, they end in the autonomic ganglia, and sympathetic postganglionic neuron, they supply to the visceral organs. Okay, and here sometimes they don't end up in a ganglia, they end up in chromaffin cells. Okay, modified autonomic cells, and these are this adrenal medulla. Example is adrenal medulla, and this is a modified autonomic ganglion. Okay, adrenal medulla is a modified autonomic ganglia. So from the lateral gray horn, sympathetic preganglionic fibers arises, they supply to the chromaffin cells in the adrenal medulla, and hormones are secreted like epinephrine and norepinephrine, they enter into the blood. Okay, they enter into the blood and do their actions. And parasympathetic ganglionic, they arise from the lateral gray horn and supplies to the parasympathetic ganglion, autonomic ganglion, and then the postganglionic, they supply to the visceral organs. Okay, so this is the arrangement of the motor neuron pathways. And we'll see the sympathetic system. Sympathetic system, the motor neurons arises from the lateral greyhounds of thoracic and lumbar segments. Okay, spinal cord, thoracic and lumbar segment. So this is called as thoracolumbar division, or sympathetic system is also called as thoracolumbar divisions. And the axons are called as thoracolumbar outflow. Okay, thoracolumbar outflow. And their ganglia, they have two types of ganglia. One is called as sympathetic trunk ganglia, which is arranged on both sides of the vertebrae. And another is prevertebral. You can see here prevertebral ganglia, which are arranged anterior to the vertebrae. Okay, anterior to the vertebrae. So this sympathetic trunk ganglia, you can see they supply, you can see just cut off here. Okay, they supply the organs above the diaphragm. And in the superior region, it is named like superior. In the head region, it is named superior cervical ganglion, middle cervical ganglion, and inferior cervical ganglion. Okay, and it also supplies to the sweat glands. And the rest of the ganglia are not named. And you can see the prevertebral ganglia. The vertebral ganglia, they are situated out like anteriorly to the vertebrae, and they are one is celiac ganglion, and the other one, another is aortico-renal ganglion, and we have superior mesenteric ganglion, inferior mesenteric ganglion, and renal ganglion. These ganglions together constitute the prevertebral ganglia, and they supply organs below the diaphragm. You can see the intestine, kidney, urinary bladder, genitals, and the uterus, etc. Okay, below the, mostly below the diaphragm. And this sympathetic trunk ganglia, this is a chain of ganglia, they supply the above. And the functions, functions of sympathetic system, just imagine the fight or flight response or an emergency response, what all things you do. And in emergency response, your eye should have proper illumination. More light should go inside the brain, inside the eye. So pupil dilatation and ciliary muscle relaxation. Lacrimal gland decrease the secretion, and salivary gland decrease the secretion. And on GIT, motility inhibition, you don't feel like defecating or urinating, etc. All the motility are inhibited, secretions are decreased, and sphincters are constricted. All the smooth muscles are relaxed. Okay, so different action according to the situation of that particular situation. Okay, and gallbladder relaxation, okay, that is secretion of the what you call bile. And we have only 3 minutes, we need to run. So on urinary bladder, the detrusor muscle relaxes. This muscle is present inside the urinary bladder. Okay, body of the urinary bladder. Detrusor muscle relax and causes the retention of the urine, holding. You can withhold the urination or you can control it. And internal sphincter constricts. It is not opening. Okay, it opens during urination only. So here you are in an emergency condition. So internal sphincter constricts. And sweat glands, it increases in secretion. That is a compensatory mechanism to reduce the blood pressure. Okay, excess, you are releasing the blood, the volume, fluid volume in the body. And heart rate and force increases. More blood supply you need to the muscles. So the force of contraction increase, cardiac output increase. Blood vessel, all the blood vessel constricts except heart and skeletal, because you need here more your skeletal muscle. You need to run away or you need to fight back. So your skeletal muscle blood supply increases. And your heart also, for more heart muscle need more supply, blood supply for more powerful contraction. And bronchioles, this is an airway tract. Usually all the tracts are constricted, but bronchioles undergo dilation because you need more air. Okay, so parasympathetic system will continue. Immediately after this, I'll schedule a meeting and send to you.